which is not unusual for somebody who's even playing in tournaments.
Sure.
Like, your opponent plays down an Incata and then a Sky Pillar and all these other cards that don't get played very often. And, yeah, sometimes you gotta just take a quick read, figure out what it does, and readjust your game plan.
Mees would have maybe been doing that for a few more common cards today, but definitely a few people would have been picking up the likes of Shedinja, I imagine, throughout the weekend, and that's going to be continuing to be the case. But Mees, as we said, he's going to be playing a Zapdos Ultra Beast base build, very different from the sort of Thunder Buzzies-esque style, where you're playing the Pikachu and Zekroms and the Zapdos together. Now you're just trying to combine it with Rainbow Energies and one copy of Beast Energy, so you can have your Sledgehammer Buzzwole and your Nihilego Nightcap as your big power spike turns, whilst you're using a constant array of Zapdos in between time.
And for Justin, we are going to see Pikachu and Zekrom. We've heard about the kind of all-in build where you're just trying to full blitz as fast as you can, and that's exactly what we got here, as you saw that order pad in his prize cards.
Yeah, order pad popularized recently by Andrew Mahone in that list there, where he was able to achieve that top 8 placement, and that seems to be the deck list that he's favoring this weekend. And as we mentioned earlier, a bit of luck on your side. Order pad can really change things up. If you're able to flip heads, you can really make some crazy combinations happen. Trying to pick out some key cards at the right moment can really switch up your turn 1 and make a full blitz happen.
Alrighty, here we go. Round 6 kicking off here at the Europe International Championships between Justin and Mees. Both players sitting at a 4-0-1 record, hoping to get one more win and put themselves in a good position to make day 2 here at this event. And Mees starting off with his best opener, that Jirachi. Yep,
he's going to Stellar Wish straight out the gate. He's eyeing up, seeing as though he has a Lily in hand, he's thinking whether or not it's worth even taking the switch. Seeing if he can, if it's worth him taking it, a guaranteed switching card on turn 1 over maybe just finding random cards off the Lily. In this case, he's saying switch isn't really a great option for me right now. There's nothing I would rather go into off of this Stellar Wish, so instead I'm just going to take no target here, bench some other stuff, and maybe build towards a big Lily here.
Yeah, for those of you who have been a long-time fan of the Pokemon TCG and watched some of our other streams, you might remember Mees. The last time he was on our stream was probably the finals of the World Championships, where he was on the wrong end of a Archie's ace-in-the-hole Blastoise and kind of a quick exit in the finals against Jacob Van Wagner. But he's hoping to redeem himself here, starting off with that Let Loose.
Yep, so often we've seen Let Loose on turn 1. As soon as you see it, you're tempted to go for it, because starting your opponent off at 5 cards rather than 7 is already going to be beneficial for you. Justin has that Tapu Koko Prism Star as his lead. A little bit awkward. Mees is still looking to find a couple Zapdos, but so far his turn has been pretty reasonable. It was actually pretty interesting that he didn't go for that switch card off the Stellar Wish. There's the temptation. Maybe Justin's playing his own Zapdos base build, and you might want to switch into a chunkier Pokemon to try and deny that early prize, but instead Mees just keeping that Jirachi active and hoping that Stellar Wish does the job of making life awkward for Justin to take his first prize here.
Yeah, and even though he got to Lily and draw a bunch of cards, he didn't play any of them, right? He just let loose after drawing up to 8 cards. That's not where you want to be. And Justin is going to open up with a pretty stellar turn of his own. Gets to Ultra Ball, grab a Pokemon, and he's got a Lily, so he can fill his hand up to 8 cards and try to do something explosive here.
And in the process, getting 1 Lightning Energy into that discard pile as well. He's already got the Dance of the Ancient that's currently active, and you can only use it when he's on the bench, of course. But it looks like he's eyeing up that Zapdos to kick things off, and such an easy attack for him to get rolling. Just finding like 1 switch card and a turn attachment, and he'll be taking the knockout on Mees' only Jirachi on the field. And Mees' hand is just a couple switch cards, by the way. He actually has nothing, so he would really relish the opportunity to knock out this Jirachi. Justin is going to really get a big swing ahead if he's able to do so. Currently eyeing up an Energy Switch and a Lily here. It's going to be a big 7 cards for him.
Yeah, if he can knock out this Jirachi, he's going to be pretty far ahead. Going to put the pressure on Mees immediately and force him to top deck something. Of course, he doesn't really know that, but that is the spot we're in. If he can find a switch here.
Zeraora and Energy Switch, that can do the job for him. That's a pretty reasonable combination. Again, he's one of these players loving all these shiny cards as much as possible. And that's a Rainbow Zeraora GX. We see the free retreat thanks to that Thunderclap Zone ability. You can go straight into the Zapdos and take the Thunderous Assault knockout. pretty reasonable turn for Justin. He has drawn into a bunch of energy cards, so that Tapu Lele GX prize was huge for him there.
Yeah, this is not a great spot for Mees. He can technically pull off an attack here if he retreats the energy into the discard pile, uses Dance of the Ancients, and then plays Switch, but decides that is just not worth it, and just going to pass his turn.
Yeah, definitely awkward for Mees there as we do pass it back over to Justin. He's already got the free retreat available to him, so it could be a nice easy Guzma knockout if he wishes. Instead, we're going to see him go for the Wonder Tag here, potentially for a different option if there's not already a Guzma in his hand. But looks like he's going for an Erica here, looking to develop his board a little bit more than just go for a Guzma play here. I think because he's holding on to some energy switch combinations, he may be just going straight for a bigger attacker here.
Yeah, he can grab Erica's Hospitality, but he'll have to play down a bunch of cards. He's got about 6 cards in his hand right now. Mees, where does that one do? Just tell him it's Steven's advice. He'll get it.
Yeah, he'll know from that, I guess.
All right, so Justin's going to have to play a couple cards down. I think there would be a temptation here to try to power up Pikachu and Zekrom, and he's actually playing down Viridian Forest and then immediately discarding it with Field Blower so he can lower his hand size for the Erica's Hospitality. Draws 4 cards, but yeah, if he takes a knockout here, he will be at 4 prize cards, and he's technically in danger of Sledgehammer from Mees, but considering that Mees just passed the turn without playing any cards, he can probably assume he's mostly safe. But he just hits for 10 damage.
That's pretty intense, really. Seeing as though he had the choice of any support he wanted, chose to just draw 4 cards and do nothing else. It's really giving Mees time to just have these lifelines of extra top decks here to get him out of this funk. Pretty interesting shout from Justin here. Trying to be a little bit more defensive by the looks of things. Hoping really that Mees still draws blanks, and right now just a Blitzel. That opens up a bunch of additional top decks for him to get out of a bad hand, which is good news for him. But Justin still might be eyeing up now a Guzma looks a lot more pleasing to him if it could deal with something like a Blitzel and remove those options from him again. But it looks like Justin's still being very careful around this Sledgehammer turn.
It's like, wait, this thing attacks?
He's just refreshing his memory again.
All right, so looks like Justin debating between Cynthia. Yeah, just going to go for it. He still has to find a switch, right? And even if he does, he doesn't knock out this Tapu Koko Prism Star. It's got too much HP. He's only doing 80 damage with Zapdos, so Mees might get another turn to top deck out of this. It looked like a miserable situation for him, but Justin unable to apply the pressure after his first attack, letting his opponent crawl back into this game perhaps.
And let's see if he is able to get into any of those switching cards. It looks like he's got a Nest Ball and once again an energy switching option, so he could get another Zapdos out to hit for 80 damage. It's still not going to be a knockout though. It's a little bit awkward. We're actually going to see the Dance of the Ancients from the Tapu Koko Prism Star for 1 energy onto this Zero Aura. It's not the ideal value, but it's one way that you can take a knockout, and now Mees is looking for a top deck of a Rainbow Energy for sure. This is definitely going to be huge for him. It's a big risk from Justin if he is going to take this prize card. He might just pass, though. Nope, he's going for it.
This is incredibly aggressive.
Yeah.
I mean, your opponent has done nothing up to this point, so I can see taking this risk, but boy, if your opponent draws a fighting energy, this is just a disaster.
Nespal gets Mees the Jirachi to start Stellar Wishing. He's already holding on to a bunch of switching options, so this could be big for Mees here. He's back in this game with a nice Stellar Wish here. He's straight back in the game.
Yeah, there's any number of things. Even an Ultra Ball could grab him Zebstrika, which can sprint for 4 cards. So let's see what he finds off of this Stellar Wish. This is a huge moment in this game. Does he find a supporter card or anything?
With Volkner, it allows him to attack with a Zapdos. It's not ideal, though. He could get himself Ultra Ball and go for the sprint that way. Still trying to hope that he can hold out for that Rainbow Energy.
Yeah, he would have enough cards to Ultra Ball and switch still. So he can go ahead and grab that. As long as there's a Zebstrika in his deck, he can go ahead and Ultra Ball for it. Looks like that's what he's going for.
Might put him in an awkward spot where he has to use the switch first, and then do you go into the Zapdos for a more likely attack, or do you just go for the Sledgehammer and say, I get so far ahead if I actually hit this off of 4 cards?
Come on, Joe. We didn't come here to not Sledgehammer. It is very painful if you miss, but I feel like doing 80 damage is almost worthless to this Zeraora, so might as well just go for it, right?
We'll see what Mees does. He's got himself that Zeb Striker now to sprint.
Especially he's down 2 prizes already. I just don't think you can afford to let your opponent get another knockout.
It might be literally that moment in the game where you say, hey, I need to get lucky here if I need to make a comeback. I've had a couple slow turns. Let's just go for it. He's going to slowly play this switch. He's not sure where to go, but he knows. He knows.
All right, 4 cards. Does he find a Fighting Energy or Rainbow? Nope.
Well, he didn't find a Lightning Energy either, so that's good.
Yeah. Oof, yeah, this turn's a lot less exciting now.
That's really rough for Mees. The only quote-unquote good news is there's a 130 hit point Pokemon, the active. Zeraora can't chain its attack,
right?
So it's at least going to force some switching around for Justin. But yeah, that could have been a crazy swing for Mees off of a big sprint. But unfortunately, not getting into one of those 5 outs that he plays, the 4 Rainbow Energies and the 1 Beast Energy, which would have been oh so critical at that moment. Would have evened up the prize trade and dealt with Justin's biggest threat on the board, leaving him with just Zapdos. And now Justin can just continue to fly ahead here. We see an order pad and Mees once again having a quick little read. Don't blame him for that one. Order pad allows you to flip a coin. If heads, you get to go ahead, search your deck for any trainer card, put it straight into your hand.
Just
item card, sorry. I've got to read it twice.
It looks like he grabbed Energy Switch, so we might be seeing a Pikachu and Zekrom GX get powered up this turn, saying, you know what, there's no Buzzwole Sledgehammer to worry about. Your Tapu Koko Prism Star is in the Lost Zone, so I don't have to worry about Tapu Koko GX. I can just full blitz, get all my energy onto this Pikachu and Zekrom, set up for a Tag Bolt next turn, and there's not a thing you can do about it.
Look at this. He's able to get the Cynthia 3 energy out of nowhere onto this Pikachu and Zekrom tag team. He'll be full blitzing, and, you know, from Mees' side of the field, there's no way that he can respond. And this can allow Justin to get straight into a Tag Bolt GX attack next turn. It's just all lined up for him really nicely off of a big order pad flip.
Yeah, and if I'm in Mees' position here, I think this is the point where I just say, you got this one. I don't know in what reasonable way you could come back in this game. You're going to be down 3 prizes, and then your opponent's going to pull off Tag Bolt GX. The only thing that could really happen is if Justin doesn't have enough energy in his deck to power up Tag Bolt. But yeah, once my opponent gets 3 more energy on there, I think that's all she wrote for me.
We're going to see Justin take that 1 more prize, and he's going to start accumulating those lightning energies that are already a couple in his hands. So he's not going to go for all 3 here. He's just going to choose to take 2 instead. Not too sure as to why. He's already committing fully pretty much at this point. I think I would have liked to see the extra energy, to be honest, but still a commanding spot for him. Just 3 prizes away to Mees' 6, and I mean, there's no real option Mees has available to really threaten this Pikachu and Zekrom for 1 shot.
Yeah, I mean, you can attack it for 80 with Zapdos. I guess if you drew every Electro Power in your deck in a choice band, yeah, I'm grasping here.
Mees grasping as well, looking like he's attaching to a Marshadow by the looks of things. I mean, he really can't feel like he's in a great spot at all here.
Yeah, even plus 150 damage isn't enough for Zapdos to knock out Pikachu and Zekrom. You would also need a Shrine of Punishment to finish it off.
We're going to see a Stellar Wish at least. There's that Rainbow Energy. It wasn't far away from him. But
yeah,
so far away now.
Yeah, and it's painful when it happens, right? It seems like you've built this deck to go, all right, I'll Zapdos in the first couple turns, I'll Sledgehammer when my opponent's at 4 prizes, I'll Nightcap with Nihilego when my opponent's at 2 prizes. But I see it happen more often than not. You have that turn where it's like, all right, this is where I Sledgehammer. and I don't find the rainbow.
That's the one thing you can't really find unless you're playing Energy Lotto, which Mees does not. You have no real access to those rainbow or beast energies other than them just popping up in your hand or being able to sprint or supporter into them. So, as you say, there's that window of opportunity that can just fade away if you do miss it, and that's definitely been the case for Mees this game.
Yeah, he's just putting lightning energy onto Marshadow, probably hoping that, if it makes it through the turn, he can then play Tapu Koko GX at some point. This is one way he might be able to buy a turn if Justin is unable to move his Absol. He'd also need to find a way to attach the 6th energy now, so maybe not searching out all 3 energy could come back to bite him here. But yeah, if Mees could buy just a single turn so that he can get 2 lightning energy out, play the Thunder Mountain Prism Star, and then attack with Tapu Koko GX, take out that Pikachu and Zekrom, that is one potential way he could come back into this game, but he's taken that option away from himself by benching another Blitzel.
Well, Mees is just thinking of something. Not sure what yet, but he's just hoping to buy himself those extra turns. Maybe, he's still hoping that there's just maybe 1 prize card being taken from the Pikachu and Zekrom next turn, rather than, as we said, the 2 prize knockout from the Tag Bolt. But I've got to tell you, Justin's already holding on to Energy and Energy Switch, so
of course
that plan's not going to help out too much. 1 more Stellar Wish from Mees, grabbing himself a Cynthia. But yeah, he's really in a bad spot here.
Sure seems like it. Just right out the gates, just did not have what he needed. He played Lily on turn 1, let loose, and then that was about it.
The let loose. It's always the story. It's always the hero and the villain with everyone. We're going to see the attachment to 3D Retreat thanks to that Thunderclap Zone from the very shiny Rainbow Zeraora in the back there. We're going to see the Energy Switch onto this Pikachu and Zekrom tag team. And you've got to think Justin's just going to fly over again, another big crucial turn. The Nihilego Nightcap turn's even taken away from Mees now as well. So if he wants to go after the energy on the Marshadow, he could. And as soon as he does, Mees scoops it up. And it's game 1 to Justin.
Yeah, well played by Justin. He recognized turn 1. He could knock out the Jirachi with his Zapdos, and Mees kind of crumbled from there. His hand off of Let Loose was very, very bad, and just was not able to recover. He had 1 opportunity in this game with the Sledgehammer, but he missed the Rainbow Energy. And, time to move on to game 2.
Yeah, the sprint didn't quite get him there, just a few cards away from that Sledgehammer, but eventually the turns just slipped away, and the Pikachu and Zekrom was able to run riot over the board, even able to take a knockout on the bench Marshadow to completely close the door on Mees there. As soon as that was the case, Mees scoops it up. We do still have ourselves half an hour for Mees to bring back a couple of games, and if there are things like the Sledgehammer turns flying, it's definitely going to be fast games, because the Pikachu and Zekrom gives up 3 prize cards. That's half the game effectively in 1 Pokemon, so there's definitely a way back into this for Mees. It's not over yet.
Yeah, you could see Justin being a little tentative on when to play down Pikachu and Zekrom. He kind of waited until the coast was clear. The Tapu Koko Prism Star went into the Lost Zone, so then your opponent's energy acceleration is limited. You can't get caught off guard by any Tapu Koko GX out of nowhere. And once he got past the Sledgehammer turn as well, he knew Pikachu and Zekrom was not going to be knocked out. And that is a wonderful feeling when you can put out Pikachu and Zekrom, full blitz, attach all your energy to it, and know this is going to be able to tag Bolt next turn. It's going to get me 2 knockouts, and it's hard to lose when you pull that off.
Yeah, it's a matter of trying to get as much value as you can out of the card. You're basically giving up 3 prize cards at some point to get the use out of him, and it's whether or not you can take 3 or 4 whilst doing so, essentially. And if that's 3 prizes on big threats, or even 4 prizes, you're going to be getting that value from the Pikachu and Zekrom tag team, whilst also sometimes accelerating other targets as well at the same time. So, you do have to play it very carefully. That's one of the biggest skills. It doesn't seem like much sometimes, but sometimes literally just benching a Pikachu and Zekrom at the wrong time is just going to end up being catastrophic for you, and the game could be over immediately.
Yeah, if you ever get 3 prizes with a Pikachu and Zekrom GX, it feels like you've you've done what you needed to do, right? Even if it gets knocked out, you've traded 3 for 3, and that's excellent. Sometimes, against other GXs, you get 4 prizes, sometimes 5 or even 6 against opposing tag teams, and then you obviously win.
Yes.
But if you can ever get 3 prizes with your Pikachu and Zekrom GX, it is fully worth it. You've only invested into 1 Pokemon to take 3 prizes. It's hard to beat that.
Yeah, it's just immense value that you get from that Pikachu and Zekrom. That's why we've seen so much of it this weekend. But we are going to kick things off here. Mees trying to mount a comeback here with his pure Zapdos base build that is running those Ultra Beasts. And it looks like he's started off with an Absol. I'm going to see a Nest Ball from him to kick off his turn. He can have a good scout of his deck here. Look to find a couple Jirachi or maybe some Zapdos this turn is pretty much all he's looking for. Especially once that Absol hits the field straight away. That's one of the ways that you can try and slow down the likes of Justin's build, but we didn't really see any Jirachi from Justin at all. He's just order pad based, but it can still be awkward when Justin starts, say, Marshadow here.
Indeed, and it looks like Mees beginning with an Ultra Ball, and looks like a pretty solid start. I think he has Lily as well, and a Lightning Energy, and we're probably going to see that Marshadow come down and let loose, and hope that Justin doesn't draw anything.
Well, that's always a good plan. You've got yourself half an hour. If you can close a game out in 1 minute, that's going to give you a great chance to win the series, and that's something that Marshadow can provide, really, if a let loose goes perfectly for you. We're first going to see a Lily for 7 cards here. May's able to pick up an escape board, which is helpful. I think a couple more basics as well, so a really, really nice start from him. He can get down another Jirachi by the looks of things, a skateboard his active, or the bench, whichever he wishes, and then go for a let loose. There's another Zapdos as well. This could be an incredible turn for him.
Yeah, it's much better than his hand last game after the Lily, where all he did was play down Marshadow and let loose. Now he's going to do what you really want to do on your first turn. Play out as many cards as you can, get your board all set up, and then let loose. And that looks like here it comes. Justin, unfortunately, starting with his Marshadow, but Mees is going to let loose with his.
And yeah, like you said, he's so much better set up this time. He's got the escape boarded Jirachi ready to Stellar Wish. He still has that available, and he's also got a second Stellar Wish if he wants to as well. So he's definitely going to get himself out of this awkward let loose. It would take some crazy bad luck to be sort of left with nothing after these couple of Stellar Wishes available to him, and it's hoping that he's really putting the pressure on Justin to get into a good hand himself here, because otherwise, as we say, the game could be over pretty quickly. Justin's got himself a Lily though. That's going to be helpful.
Yeah, he really needs to draw a lot though.
For sure.
Yeah, just starting the game with 4 cards just puts you at such a disadvantage, right? Even if you do draw a Lily for the turn, I mean, you would still love to be able to play a bunch of cards out before you Lily and then play a bunch of cards after that. We'll see exactly what he can pull off. This build of his is incredibly explosive with the order pads. I mean, if you flip heads, you run hot, everything goes well. But we'll see just how that works out for him.
He's going to finish off his turn picking up a switch off the second Jirachi here, and I think we'll more than likely see it pass over to Justin. And really it's down to this one Lily. He can play down an Absol if he wishes and then just draw a handful of cards. He's also got that top deck to go, but yeah, we're going to see Mees handed over. Justin picks up an Electro Power, which isn't ideal. He could maybe just burn that to draw an extra card here. He's even going to attach to his Marshadow. We know how many Energy Switch his deck list plays. We're just going to see the Lily for 6 here, no Electro Power being used. Just going to try and see if he can get into the likes of Zeraora, Zapdos, Energy Switch would be pretty reasonable for him. But
if you were Justin, would you have played the Electro Power there? Try to draw the extra card?
I'm pretty sure I would.
It feels like such a big deal to get the attack off.
Yep.
I mean, Electro Power is great. You never want to waste it, but man, if you get an attack off, you feel great.
And I don't think reaching is a big problem for his deck. He has plenty of damage output. He's got a lot more Electro Powers available to him as well. I feel like you start to fall behind if you're missing some early knockouts. We are going to see Justin is going to play down the Zeraora GX. And he has the option of Viridian Force as well to maybe start working towards this Dance of the Ancients Tapu Koko Prism Star that's in his hand. There's a Thunder Mountain as well. It's a reasonable hand to sit on, to be fair, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Pass it over to Mees, but interesting to see him bench the GX Pokemon with no real intention of, getting it set up at all.
Yeah, and, leaving the Marshadow out there, leaving his energy out there to be knocked out as well. He does have Tapu Koko Prism Star in hand, so he can recover that on the following turn, but yeah, not the best turn one for him. He would have loved to do what he did last game, get his Zapdos, Thunderous Assault, knock out the Jirachi, put on some pressure, but this is kind of the opposite. He just put an energy on a Marshadow that is probably going to get knocked out this turn, and then pass the turn.
Maze has a Guzma in his hand. I think he's already got Beast Energy and Buzzwole as well. He's just picked up the Choice Band. He can be doing 180 damage to this Zeraora. He's putting it in range of a Shrine of Punishment to, if he's using a Guzma as well, he has a Stellar Wish to try and reach that target as well. This could be an incredible turn for Maze.
Yeah, of course, Zeraora GX does have 190 HP, so Sledgehammer, not quite enough here. But he's just going to play it down anyway and say, you know what, this is here. At some point, it's going to get you.
Maze, of course, not able to go into his second Jirachi thanks to the Absol that's on Justin's side of the field. So just the one Stellar Wish, and then we're going to see the Thunderous Assault to take that individual prize. And Maze, this time, is able to start the race, and he's already threatening that Buzzwole as well, which is definitely something that Justin has to be concerned about.
So Justin here, he's got to find some way to respond, right? You can't fall too far behind in these matchups. He's going to play down the Thunder Mountain Prism Star, and now playing Electro Power. So if he can find a Zapdos of his own, he can use Thunderous Assault for no energy and return the knockout. I'm sure that's got to be what he's going for here.
Yeah, definitely the case. Interesting to see he didn't put down his own Tapu Koko Prism as well. There's currently one energy in the discard pile. It could have been something that he worked towards as well with some other attackers. Basically, he's just concerned that it might be a target for Maze, and he knows how valuable it can be for him. But when it has 130 hit points, you're still out of range of the Buzzwole as well, even with the Beast Energy attached. So it's a bit of a surprise to see that not go down this turn before the Cynthia, and he's actually drawn straight back into it.
Go figure.
It's a shame, but that's the real reason why you would want to bench it in the first place. And then benches it afterwards. That's a little bit annoying.
Yeah, and he's already attached for the turn, so it's not like he can attack with Zeraora GX. He's an energy away from doing that. Dance of the Ancients can only go to your benched Pokemon. So yeah, he's just going to throw it out there and pass the turn and say, hey, hope you can't knock this out.
Wow, that Cynthia was definitely a little bit of a blank for Justin. And it's over to Maze now to see if he can start getting some switch combinations all in one turn because, well, he's already asking Justin a big question with this escape rope here. He's going to have to send in the Absol. Too risky to go for anything else here. He's going to go into his Jirachi by the looks of things, Maze. He's also holding onto a Guzma if he wants to use it, but we are going to see a Stellar Wish here. Lining up some more switching cards. There's Electro Power available as well. His own Thunder Mountain.
Yeah, he could even just Sledgehammer. With the Beast Energy, he can knock out Absol.
Yeah.
Might not be a bad option. Although, it always feels bad to, set it out there, and if it gets knocked out somehow, you're like, ugh, I could have had this Sledgehammer waiting, and now I just threw it out there, and it got knocked out. So, that would be, not too tough for Justin to pull off. He does have Thunder Mountain Prism Star out there already, so if he just attaches and uses Plasma Fists, the Buzzwole would go down, but still an interesting decision.
Looks like he's eyeing up this Electro Power. Well, he's going to change his mind and grab the switch instead here. This does allow him just to move straight into that Buzzwole and take the knockout on the active if he wants to. But as we say, he's already got that Guzma available as well to him. So still a few options. He may even try once again to try and find a Shrine of Punishment. Would be huge to allow him that Guzma for the Zeraora.
You know what? I don't even think he plays it.
Wow.
Yeah, I think a lot of the modern builds of this deck have elected not to play Shrine of Punishment at all. It just kind of clunks up your deck a little bit. You're already running all these different Ultra Beasts and Rainbow and Beast Energy and stuff. And just adding more room for more Zebstrika in your deck is important.
Yeah, Maze does have the thicker Zebstrika line just to give you more of a safeguard against a low and muck which is definitely understandable because how many times have you seen a lower muck hit the field and Zapdos players concede 2 turns later because they've had nothing else to do?
Right.
Mees giving himself the most opportunity to continue to draw throughout the game. As we do see Justin, he's going to commit energy to his Zeraora. As we say, there's already the Thunder Mountain in play for him to start getting some response knockouts going. We're going to see a Lily for a few cards here. Looks like he's got Ultra Ball. Again, not looking ideal for him. He's got a few options, but it's still looking pretty bleak. He could maybe work towards this Dance of the Ancients Tapu Koko if he wants to, as he's going to start pitching a few more energy cards, Ultra Balling for what looks to be a Pikachu and Zekrom tag team.
Yeah, this game's not looking great. Might as well just go for it, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Mees go for that sort of hedge last game when he was like, well, I'm so far behind, I need to somehow pole vault my way back ahead. And sometimes you just need to dodge and weave a few cards and a few critical moments. And that seems to be what Justin's saying at this point.
Yeah, he can even power up the full blitz. So, can go ahead and knock out the Zapdos. I mean, if you're going to do this, might as well just go for it, right? Attach those 3 energy. If your opponent has a way to knock out your Pikachu and Zekrom, then so be it. But, you know, it feels like he's behind. His Zeraora has a bunch of damage on it, so might as well just cross your fingers, say, hey, you know, if you can get Tapu Koko Prism Star, Tapu Koko GX, well, good job.
Yeah.
Although
there's a Thunder Mountain already, though, so it may not even require that much.
Yeah, because of the way Tapu Koko GX works and the interaction with the Beast Energy, it's currently providing Lightning Energy, so you can move it from Buzzwole to your Tapu Koko GX. So all you would need is Tapu Koko GX and a Lightning Energy, and he can Tapu Thunder GX for a lot of damage.
Easily enough to take a knockout here. And I think Mees already has both combination pieces in his hand. It would have been just a regular Lightning Energy or the Dance of the Ancients Tapu Koko, which happens to be what's in his hand. He can steal that Beast Energy for himself. It'll only become a colorless when it's attached to that Tapu Koko already, of course. And there's 1 colorless cost in Tapu Koko's attack. So we'll see Mees kick things off with a Stellar Wish here. He's also got that switch available, which can let him Stellar Wish again, and then he can simply use the Tapu Koko GX to come in all at once and take a big knockout here. That is if Mees has read Beast Energy properly. That's a genuine concern at this point.
Sure. Yeah, let's hope for the best.
Yeah. He is going to go ahead and grab himself another Guzma here from the Stellar Wish. Just trying to thin the deck as much as possible, get as many uses out of the Jirachi, even if it's not for immediately right now. You can still get value later on, and Guzma never a bad card to pick up and have the option for in your hand. We're going to see the Tapu Koko Prism Star grab a couple energies, or maybe just even 1, and it's going to go onto this Buzzwole by the looks of things. And now he can use this Tapu Koko GX. He is going to Aero Trail into the active, steal those energy cards.
There we go, yep.
Brings it up. And he can go for his GX attack, Tapu Thunder, for a big 3-prize knockout here. Mees continuing to fly ahead this game.
Yeah, and he's going to be so far ahead. This is the risk that Justin probably had to take, and probably knew that it wasn't going to work out very well. But at this point, yeah, Mees is going to go down to 2 prize cards. There's a Zeraora GX with a bunch of damage on it already. It's I don't know, as long as he finds one more way to punch that Zeraora GX, it'll be game over.
Yep, exactly. And Mees is also going to be able to reload his hand here with a Cynthia. The only thing he was really missing from his hand was energy cards physically, so he could get himself an attachment this turn as well if he wishes. Nowhere too beneficial, but it can help you play around Absol, maybe help you get more Stellar Wishes involved next turn. That's exactly what we're going to see.
So yeah, Tapu Koko GX, a card that's seen a major resurgence in pretty recent months, thanks to that Tapu Thunder GX attack, taking 3 prize cards on the Pikachu and Zekrom. It's one of the main counters to Pikachu and Zekrom after they full blitz. You punish them for how much energy they have in play, and it's just an easy 3 prize knockout there. You see exactly why this card has come back into favor after really not being used for well over a year. Now is an opportunity for it to come out now that there's so much support for Lightning-type Pokemon.
Yeah, there was that sort of threshold that was breached with Thunder Mountain, Zeraora, Electro Power, and now Pikachu and Zekrom tag team it's helpful in that deck just in general, but also against opposing Pikachu and Zekrom tag team, so it's just a no-brainer to add the card into your own deck here. And we're going to see Justin, it's his turn to go for his Tapu Koko. We're going to see an Electro Power as well. And we're going to see the Tapu Thunder GX to take the knockout here. There are 3 energies on Amaze's side, so he can at least take a response knockout here with something that isn't damaged in the active position, so it's as good as Justin could have hoped for, really.
Right. Now that Beast Energy does need to go to the Lost Zone, but that will probably be a moot point very quickly here, as Mees does have Guzma in hand.
Yeah, Guzma, Rainbow Energy. He has Electro Powers as well, so he could use the Buzzwole or the Zapdos. And he can take those final 2 prize cards. And we're going to square it all up here with 15 minutes left to conclude a really interesting series so far.
Definitely, yeah. This has become kind of a classic matchup in the standard format. Zapdos decks versus the Pikachu and Zekrom decks. Slightly different lightning builds, but both of them effective in their own right. And we saw in game number 1 what can happen when the Pikachu and Zekrom goes unchecked. And what happens in game number 2 when it does.
That's literally that case where you set your stall out saying, I really hope you can't deal with this because I'm all in at this point. And Mees in that second game was able to have the answer. He was already holding on to the Tapu Koko GX in hand, and he could instantly just Aero Trail into that active, take a huge knockout, and it was enough to pole vault him, 3 prize cards, and he's so close to the finish line at that point that he was just easily able to get there with that final Guzma.
Right, yeah, when you full blitz with Pikachu and Zekrom and you put all the energy on that Pikachu and Zekrom, basically what happens is someone is going to win the game. We don't know who, but someone is going to win very fast.
Yeah, it's one way or the other. You're literally just saying, well, this is either happening or you're finding the answer immediately. And I'm putting you on this 1-turn clock, so good luck to you. And in that situation, Mees was able to get there. He had a couple Stellar Wishes to help him on his route, but he just naturally had it all prepared for him. He had that Beast Energy already attached from earlier on in the game as well. We haven't seen much interaction from the Ultra Beast much in the first couple of games. We'll see if they end up being critical in this game 3.
Absolutely. As we get started here, Justin actually had an interesting decision with his opening hand, as we do see his prize cards there. He had a Zapdos and a Pikachu and Zekrom, and trying to figure out which one to start with. Looks like he opted to start with Zapdos.
And I think he straight away benched the Pikachu and Zekrom anyways. So I think maybe the one going first, you're going to start trying to get full blitz potential rolling as quickly as possible. His build is most aggressive, using those auto pads to try and find those combination pieces at times. Looks like he's just got a Cynthia though. Maybe not the best start from him, but he's going to look for a fresh 6 here at the very least. But yeah, trying to set your stall out with that Pikachu and Zekrom has been something he's done over the first couple of games, and it might be the strategy that he goes for once again, as he has got that turn 1 attachment to the Pikachu, just getting that threat ready. Obviously, you don't have to attach energy cards with your full blitz as well. You can just stick to 3, and you remain pretty tanky in those early turns until you avoid that Sledgehammer as well, so definitely something to bear in mind.
And he just puts down Zeraora GX as well. Yeah, it's a big difference between going first and going second. When you go second, you kind of feel the pressure to attack with your Zapdos. You don't want to fall too far behind. When you go first, you get a chance to attach energy for the turn, and then turn 2, you can use one of your Prism Star cards to make it so you can full blitz on the second turn of the game, and feel like this is fine. I can power up Pikachu and Zekrom GX. It's interesting to see how the games play out based on who goes first.
Mees has an incredible start here. He's already got a Jirachi with a skateboard in hand. He's able to nest ball out a second Jirachi here. I think he's already got energy in his hand as well. So he's not far away from taking the first prize here and already developing a couple of Jirachis. It's pretty much all you're looking for as the Zapdos player, just initiating that race, leaving Justin with just a couple of GXs on the board, which you always prefer to go through, because that's how you can get big up trades. And Mees is going to continue with Stellar Wish here. Another Nest Ball is open to him, and Electro Power is also very tempting. You can guarantee that knockout if it's not already in his hand, but we are going to see another Nest Ball here. Maybe try and develop the board even further with some Blitzels seeing the field, or maybe just some backup Zapdos. Lots of good options for him. But with his thicker line of the Zebstrika, you know that that's definitely one of his priorities in this deck. He likes, not only trusting the Jirachi here and there, he's giving himself that extra sort of cushion to draw a little bit deeper into his deck with Sprint.
Yeah, an ideal turn would be getting a knockout on the Zapdos as well. Let's see if he can pull everything off, but actually he's going to go for the escape rope. And Justin's going to send out that Zeraora GX. So Mees can get a hit in on it and basically set up for a 2-hit knockout. Also makes things a bit awkward. He'll have to perhaps commit an energy to retreat the Zeraora GX. So looks like Mees is in line to get a turn 1 attack as long as he has an energy to do so. I think he has an escape board in hand, so not much more you can ask for.
It's all gone swimmingly so far.
Third nest ball.
Exactly. That's really, in the opening turns, if it's not a supporter, it's nest ball. That's what you're hoping for off of Jirachi more often than not. Get these basics developed, get those blitzels developed. So Mees has had a really, really awesome start here. And he's going to be able to finish on doing 80 damage to the active if he wishes. There's already a Cynthia as well in his hand as well. Don't forget that he hasn't supported yet.
Mm-hmm. And he might try to cap it all off with that Marshadow Let Loose if he so chooses. Justin only has 5 cards in hand, but yeah, you never know. Could be some good ones, and you might want to set him back to 4.
And Justin was sort of mulling over whether or not to use an order pad. I'm not sure if he completely showed it to Mees. He was on that halfway mark of whether or not I even play this card. When you give your opponent that sort of information that you've got some sort of playables, it might give you some information that could sway you one way or the other with a Let Loose.
Right, yeah, if my opponent showed me an order pad, I'm not sure if I would let loose them. Because, I mean, it's already a 50-50 chance that card is already worthless.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe it was the perfect bait from Justin. We are going to see Mees. He's got himself an Ultra Ball. He can toss a Lightning Energy. Always great to have that option of the Tapu Koko. And we are indeed going to see Let Loose after attaching that Choice Band.
Let's do it.
Here we go again. Mees with the backup of his own Jirachis, Justin with just the Zeraora in the active, taking a big hit of 110 damage at least this turn.
Yeah, and notably, Justin has not played many cards at all. There's just the Cynthia in the discard pile. He's only played 4 cards out, 5 in total with the Cynthia. So his deck is just so massive still. There's so many cards. Usually after your first turn, you like to thin through a bunch of cards so that things like Marshadow don't hurt you, but when you're only able to play a couple cards, there's so much opportunity for you to draw a worse hand.
Well, we pass it over to Justin after 110 damage, and I see an order pad, so we're hopeful right now. We see a nest ball from Justin to kick off his turn here. Maybe eyeing up something like that Absol to slow down Mees' Stellar Wishing. It's something that many players are adding into their deck list to deny the amount of Jirachi use a Zapdos player and even some Pikachu and Zekrom players do have. Looks like Justin already has a Cynthia, so he's not all in on the order pad. Unfortunately, he does hit the tails, though. He's got himself an energy switch as well, which he's eyeing up.
Yeah, just going to guarantee that he can move that Zeraora GX at some point. Getting off an attack won't be trivial here. I mean, he just needs a Lightning Energy to attack with his Zapdos, but he'll also need to draw in Electro Power if he wants to get a knockout. I'm sure he would love to full blitz this turn if possible, but that seems a little bit out of reach.
Already with 1 order pad tails this turn. He's looking a little bit weaker. He needs to find 1 additional card here. He's found himself energy and Electro Power, though. Also the Stadium, if he wants to get even more energy, starting to sort of flow into his discard pile, seeing as though he's also drawn into that Oko Prism Star.
Yeah, he could full blitz if he wanted to this turn.
It's all come up for him. He's got the Viridian Forest.
Did I say it was out of reach? that was wrong.
Incredible. And we've seen how Justin does like to go aggressively for those full blitzes. Last time he shoved 6 energies into play all at once. Maybe this time it'll just be the 150 damage that we see and no extra attachments, but
okay. He's
instead,
just going with the Zapdos.
Yeah, there was always this option available to him as well. The free retreat available, the Electro Power already in hand, and we're just going to see the knockout.
This does seem a bit awkward to me because he is absolutely playing into Sledgehammer now. If you go for the full blitz play and it pays off, you can skip that Sledgehammer turn by using Tag Bolt GX. It's a risk that might be worth taking, even though clearly it can backfire. Now we're in a situation where he can't really skip from 5 to 3 prize cards. He's going to have to stay at 4, which means Sledgehammer can come into play at some point, and that could mean a 3 prize knockout on Pikachu and Zekrom. That's going to be the major tension here in the next couple turns.
It's going to get even more scary when there are the likes of Blitzel already in play, because that just gives you extra reach. We saw how Mees only had Sprint last time and was not quite able to get towards that Rainbow Energy or Beast Energy. But in this case, he might have additional draw supporters on top of that to help him get towards that Sledgehammer. We are going to see Mees took a Nest Ball with the intention of simply Ultra Balling it away. Looks like he's eyeing up that Zeb Striker to start rolling here and get him out of this hand. There's already Thunder Mountain available to him, but instead he's going to Viridian Forest away that Nest Ball real quick, get himself the Lightning Energy to guarantee himself a Zapdos attack at the very least, if he wants to. Again, he's on the search now for Electro Power.
Yeah, let's not forget that Absol is out there as well, so it's going to make attacking a little bit awkward for him. He will need to find some way to switch out his Pokemon. I believe he has Escape Rope in hand, but that gives his opponent the choice of which Pokemon to send out. He would probably prefer to just have Switch in this scenario, but you play both, and sometimes you draw the wrong one.
Yeah, the idea is you play both so that you can Stellar Wish into the right one at the right time, but you've got to remember that you can sometimes draw into these as well, and it makes life a little bit more awkward for you. Mees is, interestingly enough, going to put the Thunder Mountain into play, allowing him to attack with Zapdos and move his Jirachi out of the way. He's just going to go straight into another Jirachi here.
His opponent hasn't even chosen yet.
Yeah. You're going to see the Sprint for 4 cards.
Finds another Escape Rope.
Going to see a Stellar Wish once again. I think there's also Volkner's open to him right now. There's a switch though. Maybe he's happy going in through this Absol. Obviously we've seen it's awkward. It does hurt the amount of Stellar Wishing you can do, especially when you start playing your switches and your ropes. You end up with less and less outs every single turn, so eventually dealing with an Absol is pretty beneficial here and there.
Yep, and hasn't even played his supporter card for the turn yet, so he's going to go ahead and drop down that Volkner, search for a Lightning Energy and probably an Electro Power if he doesn't already have one.
Yep, he's going to have a little scout through here. He's got the Thunder Mountain, but like you said, Lightning Energy.
Out of Lightning Energy?
Wow, he does not seem to have any. There's a couple in the discard pile, I believe.
Yeah, not many.
Yeah. But that's one of the risks of playing only, I think it's 5 Lightning Energies and then just a bunch of special energies.
Right, yeah.
That's why you normally see Volkner in a fairly low count in this deck, because it can help you in awkward spots, but you can only really use the Volkner for full value, like once or twice. We are going to see that switch eventually, though. Thunder Mountain, Electro Power. It's going to help you take the knockout on this Absol and level up the prize trade, which is pretty reasonable for Mees, seeing as though there's already a damaged GX on the side of the field of Justin, as well as a tag team on the board for you.
Notably, Mees did find a Rainbow Energy off of his prize card, so he can power up that Sledgehammer on the following turn. He also has Rescue Stretcher in case the Buzzwole gets knocked out. So next turn is going to be a big one for him. Justin, he's got to keep up the pressure here. He does have Zapdos in play already. He just needs an Electro Power to score the knockout here. We'll see what he decides to do.
There is the Electro Power. There's also Energy Switch in his hand if he wants to move away from this Damage Zero Aura at some point. Obviously, it's a very easy option for Mees.
He could even Energy Switch away from the Zapdos.
Sure.
Because Thunder Mountain Prism Star is out there, which that is what he's doing. Gets the free retreat from Zera Aura GX's Thunderclap Zone ability. And there we do see Thunderous Assault for the knockout on that Zapdos. But now he's at 4 prize cards. And that means it is Sledgehammer time. And it is going to be a big Sledgehammer.
Oh, no. I was just about to have this build-up between going for these Stellar Wishes and hoping to dart around and find this Guzma, but Mees completely ruins the suspense and just draws immediately into one. This is going to be an incredible turn for him, taking a 3 prize knockout, 1 energy off the board as well. He's also got this Rescue Stretcher now that he can use for full value on these 3 Zapdos. Interesting that he's doing this before Stellar Wishing, though. That's a small thing.
Right. Yeah, he might even decide to, well, I mean, if you have the Guzma, yeah, you would Stellar Wish first, but...
He might be sprinting, then Stellar Wishing afterwards. That could be an option as well for him.
Yeah, but because you have to play the Guzma, it's...
Yeah.
Yeah, you should probably Stellar Wish first. It doesn't matter. He's going to pull off the amazing turn here.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
We're nitpicking at this point.
Yeah.
The bottom line is his turn is absolutely incredible here. He's going to take 3 prize cards, leave himself with just 2, once again, as we saw in that game 2, with the same damage Zera Aura. So he's put himself right in the same spot as last time, and this is where we see the huge value, the huge swing that you get from taking full advantage of these Ultra Beasts. And Boswell on this Sledgehammer turn is such a big deal. He's going to have a little scout through his discard pile. We know there we are, 3 Lightning Energy, it looks like, in his discard pile currently. He's going to dance to the Ancients to restore some of these energy cards onto some non-Jirachi targets. He's also going to bench a Zapdos.
And this is the huge turn. Sledgehammer, if your opponent has exactly 4 prize cards remaining, does 90 more damage. So that's 120 times 2 for the weakness, exactly 240 damage. And Pikachu and Zekrom GX goes down for 3 prize cards. Justin is on life support here.
A 3 prize card swing on a 1 energy basic. Obviously a little bit more complex than that. A few criteria have to be met, but the bottom line is a non-GX has just taken down a tag team for 1 attachment, and when that happens, you start falling very, very far behind here. Justin can mount a comeback in terms of attacking presence, but the Zera Aura is such a liability. It's very, very easy for Mees to just finish off the game, as we saw so easily last time. It's just basically 1 Guzma away right now. There's already a Zapdos and a Thunder Mountain in play, and there's one thing we know about Zapdos: it loves playing Guzma, and it loves finding it with the likes of Sprint and Stellar Wish as well. So he's just so close to the finish line at this point. Justin's going to have to try and do his best here to limit the outs that Mees has. He might be looking to Guzma the likes of those Jirachis with his Zapdos, with Thunder Mountain, limit the amount of Stellar Wishing Mees can do towards that Guzma. That's really all Justin can do this turn. Get himself off the Sledgehammer and maybe deal with the Jirachi in the process is probably all he can really come up with.
Right, and time has been called, so we will enter the +3 turns portion of this game. Justin will be turn 0, which means both players will get 2 turns to finish out this game. And if there's no decisive winner, then it will be a tie. But in this situation, it looks like Mees is well on his way to decide this game. If not on his next turn, then on the second one that he'll get. And now if you're Justin, it's how do I not lose?
Yes, that's definitely how the mentality changes. Maybe you're just going for some Guzmas on like the Zapdos, just to leave it in the active, but you still have to get off Sledgehammer as well. So
yeah,
you still need to take a prize, and it ends up Mees being able to, get a Jirachi back up front and get some Stellar Wishes going. So, like you say, it's really, really awkward for Justin at this point. Mees so close to being over the line. Time coming. A reasonable time for him. He's been able to fly through the last couple of games, and it's meant that he's given himself the opportunity to actually close out this game rather than ending in a tie. It's always good to see a lively pace of play from both players.
Yeah, so if you're in this spot and you're just trying to not lose, do you think it's better to try to Guzma out the Zapdos and pass and hope your opponent doesn't have Guzma? Or is it better to get off of the Sledgehammer turn and force your opponent to have multiple things to win?
I feel like getting off the Sledgehammer turn whilst also dealing with the Jirachi is very appealing. That's one thing. You're denying the amount of Stellar Wishing your opponent can do.
Right.
But yeah, this Buzzwole is an equal threat just because it could be something like a Dance to the Ancients plus a turn attachment. Actually, there's already been a Dance to the Ancients from Mees, so that wouldn't be available. But yeah, this Buzzwole is still always going to be a threat, so taking the prize is mandatory. It's just whether or not you look to knock out the Jirachi or not, and it looks like Justin went for the Lily play here, and he's just going to grab himself that fateful Let Loose to make life more difficult for Mees.
Yep. And Mees has to read both of the cards that Justin just played, the Mysterious Treasure and the Rayquaza GX that he discarded. But despite not knowing perhaps every card that's being played at this event, Mees has still managed to put together some excellent game plans, showing why he was a Worlds finalist not too long ago. The strategy is all still there.
Yep.
The cards may have changed, but the fundamentals are still there.
He's playing with those fundamentals so well. He's not really put a foot wrong in this series, really. And Justin is in a very awkward spot here. Like we say, he can full blitz knock out this Buzzwole thanks to the Thunder Mountain Prism Star. That's not a problem for him.
Yeah, and I definitely don't think you should take energy here if you're... I guess you can take one.
Sure.
It doesn't make any difference, but the 3 energy is not what you should do.
Yeah, you don't want to fall straight into a Tapu Koko GX attack. That's still available for Mees with 2 lightning energies already in play. So you can't take more than the 1 really here. And it's down to Mees to find himself a gusting effect for the very damaged Zeraora. Here's Stellar Wish number 1.
Right, there's the first one. Grabs a Lily off of that. I believe he has a switch in hand, so he can switch, and then I think you should sprint first. Dig deeper into your deck. So then your deck is smaller when you Stellar Wish the second time.
For sure.
Dig for that Guzma.
We are going to see there is the switch there available to him.
He's even got a third Jirachi he can play down if he wants.
And I can't see what else he would really want that bench space for. I think just giving yourself more Stellar Wishes is always reasonable.
Looks like third Jirachi will go down. Maybe.
He's really mulling things over. He's thinking, how can this ever harm me? Is there any way that an extra bench Pokemon can help me in a different regard here? But it looks like he's just going to switch into this second Stellar Wish Jirachi. And again, he has that debate, do I just sprint first and essentially have a 9-card dig? And that's exactly what Mees is going for here. He knows how close he can be to finding the outs, and it still doesn't look to be there. Is Stellar Wish number 2.
Mori finds a switch, so he can at the very least Stellar Wish a third time.
Well, that seems to be what we're going with here. He's missed once again.
And that is why you put down the third Jirachi.
Exactly.
It gives you an extra out to win this turn.
If Mees doesn't win this turn, Justin's still 3 prize cards away. He's having to duck and dive one more turn by the looks of things, as this is just turn 1 for Mees here in time. But we'll still see at least one more Stellar Wish here and have one last chance for Guzma.
All right. Does your boy show up this time?
There he is.
He does.
Whew. Mees digging and digging. 3 Stellar Wishes, 1 sprint later. Finally is able to rip that Guzma to use either the Thunderous Assault or the Head Bolt. The choice was his. Thanks to that Thunderous Mountain on the board. That he was simply able to take the last 2 prizes there and close out the game against Justin in a really, really interesting best of 3 there.
Yeah, you saw early on, what was it, the first turn or second turn, Mees played Guzma or the Escape Rope, one of the 2, brought out the Zeraora GX and hit it for 110 damage. And then all those turns later, that 110 damage that was sitting there adds up to be a perfect knockout with the second Thunderous Assault for 80 damage to take his final 2 prize cards. So the early play leads to a win later on in the game. That's some great planning there.
Yeah, and it's the same plan he had in both games 2 and 3, really. He was just trying to set up that 1 tag team knockout and then also having the option of 1 GX knockout. And here or there, you can just have that cheeky turn of knocking out a low hit point non-GX, and that's enough to take the 6, and that's all Mees needed. In that final game, we really saw the power of the Sledgehammer Buzzwole, a fantastic tech card that helps out against the likes of Zoroark and Pikachu and Zekrom. When you're all non-GX, it can be very, very difficult to get around the Sledgehammer, so at one point or another, it's just going to get that value and really help Mees in that regard to push over the line.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I don't think that Buzzwole in itself is a great Pikachu and Zekrom counter because you can play around Sledgehammer. It's when you have it in combination of other things that can threaten Pikachu and Zekrom that it really becomes powerful. For example, in this matchup, when you